And we are live. What it do, YouTube? Thank you guys for tuning in today. With me and Professor, we are going to be dropping some political facts today, guys. Gonna kind of jump straight into it. But, Professor, I want you to shout out what you got going on, your Instagram. Where can we find you?
Usually can find me at the nearest buffet, but no. If you don't know, now you know. It's uh on Instagram is the underscore distinguished underscore professor. It's the distinguished professor on YouTube as well. Please make sure you like, share, and subscribe. I don't care if you like or don't like my videos. Comment, tell me what you hate or like about them, and share and subscribe to the videos. But yeah, the distinguished professor on YouTube and the underscore distinguished underscore professor on Instagram.
Awesome word, y'all. So we're gonna get straight into it today. We're not gonna be too long, you guys. But I thank you for tuning in and thank you, Professor, for being here tonight with me or Real Talk. So I wanted to get into this political thing, right? Because I feel like there's kind of an uproar of this Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. First black African American woman versus, a white man that has ran in office already. Um, I see it kind of a mixture of people saying that they care, but then they don't care. People are very vocal about not voting at all, and some people push that it is most important that we do vote. Where do you think our mindset should be towards this election of Kamala and Trump? Where should our mindsets be as Americans and the people?
Yes, of course. Absolutely happy to dive into that. Thanks for definitely having me on the show today. When we talk about voting, especially in the black community, it's crucial to understand that it isn't about race or gender or the candidate or even how charming they might seem. It's about their policies, what they're actually going to do for your community. So I want to speak directly to the audience. When you step into the voting booth, think about how the candidate's policies will affect your neighborhood first, things like education, jobs, healthcare. Then consider how those policies will impact the broader society. Our vote is powerful because it's not just a reflection of who we are, but of the future we want to build. So that's how we make real progress by going to the voting booth. We have to make sure that we go out and vote because that's the most important thing. I don't like to talk about how people fought or died for it. No, just
Mhm.
that is your power, that is your impact. So go out to the voting booths and vote.
Yes, I definitely agree. I have heard though on like the other side of the spectrum, you could say, of I guess you could call it conspiracy, right? Where people say that our votes really don't even matter, and that it's kind of there's an idea that this has already been decided. There's a plan. There's certain people that are in place for specific reasons. For example, we have I don't know if you watched like Simpsons, the yellow people, and way back years ago, it's like they had Trump on there and different things like that. So I've heard it to where people are saying that because it's already decided for us, that there's no reason to even like pay attention. Which I can see how that could affect the mindset.
Yeah, I mean, you have it's a classic what they call Schrodinger's cat. You don't know, Schrodinger's cat is a psychology phrase where, if the cat is in a box, you don't know if it's dead and alive at the same time because you don't know until you open the box. So,
Mm,
there is some conspiracy possibly. I mean, every president is related to one another outside of two.
hmm.
So every single president have maybe Trump, so maybe it's three, but every
Yeah,
single
yeah, yeah.
president they're all related. They also could talk about the Bilderberg Group and how they go have the trilateral commission. Trilateral Commission has these meetings, and then they pick the president. Let's say that's true. We don't know. So at the end of the day,
Right.
if you don't know, still go out and cast your vote. Whether it counts or doesn't count. What we
Hmm.
do know counts is it counts with the popular vote, and the more votes you get, the more votes you get for your candidate in your state, and that state, if he wins that state, will get the electoral college votes. So while there has been candidates that have won the popular vote, there have been candidates and lost the presidential election. It still doesn't matter.
Hmm.
Still go out and cast your vote because at the end of the day, whether they pick the person or not, you don't know. So go out and
Right.
do your job.
Yeah, and that's actually a really, really good point because we don't know.
Right.
We can draw as many conclusions as we want, but at the end of the day, it's still just a conclusion. It's still just conspiracy or hypothetical speaking.
Correct.
But you were saying that that the presidents are related to one another in some sort. Do you think Trump not being a part of that plays a part in how he's freely spoken in different ways?
Well, I think he definitely ruffled some feathers. He's definitely
Mhm.
someone who potentially couldn't be bought like other presidents. I always say, I believe the president gets a little bit over $400,000 a year.
Yeesh.
So that's little to no money when you look at the grand scheme of things. Because if I'm a lobbyist for a big pharma or LBG or the alphabet community or whatever, and I pay you a couple $1 million, who do you work for? Do you work for the government?
Right.
Do you work for the people? Or do you work for people that's paying you more money? So uh, I think the fact that he did not go with the status quo was not a career politician. He came in with a different mindset. He didn't take a salary. And people say,
Mhm.
well, his family benefited. Well, they stayed at Trump hotels. They stayed at Trump properties. Of course, his family's going to benefit if he owns real estate. It is what it is. So at the end of the day,
Yeah.
and every president benefits, whether in office or out of office, whether they're supposed to or not. But I think he is someone that was in office that people were afraid of because they did not know what he was going to do because he was not a career
Right.
politician. You couldn't predict what he was going to do, and that's the most scary part about him because politicians couldn't predict what he was going to do.
Hmm. Yes, yeah, it's like that conspiracy we talking about. They didn't have him written down in the agenda.
Right,
So it's
right,
like he was
exactly.
going off script is what people were saying, is like he's completely off script. Um
Mhm.
okay, so now switching gears, going into more so of like Kamala. I know we've heard there's been some crazy stuff said about Kamala recently.
Right.
I've heard for the first time that she slept her way to the top, X, Y, and Z. There's lots of conversations about all of the black people that she has locked up throughout her career for petty crimes. And then she tries to put on an act in front of the crowd and act like it's for everyone when really behind closed doors, this is the track record she has. What should we think of Kamala? Is she a good candidate as a younger black woman? She is the vice president. She does have experience of being in her field as well as locking us up. Could she be a good candidate for us to even consider?
Well, it depends on what you define a good candidate would be. What does that good candidate need to possess for you to be a good candidate? Um, Kamala's a beautiful woman. She's 52, I believe, years old.
Hmm.
She has done things in certain positions where she has been from prosecutor to AG to senator to now vice president. Is
Hmm.
she in my opinion, is she a good candidate? So when I provide my opinion, I provide it based upon the policies that she quote unquote proposes, what she did as vice
Right.
president, and what she has done in her roles. Because as if I'm HR manager, I'm gonna look at your resume, see what you did, to see if I want to hire you, see if you're good for my company. So
Hmm.
for me, I would not vote her in as president. It has
Hmm.
nothing to do with her race, her gender, her pantsuits, nothing. It's just based upon the policies and the things that she's done. I would not vote her in.
Okay, I gotcha. Is there anything that you would say is absurd that is in her policies? I know she just did her rally or her speech on what her economic plan was, and she was doing a lot of comparison to what Donald Trump was going to do compared to how she's going to bring down a lower cost and there'll be more jobs and X, Y, and Z. So those things seem to be good for the economy, no?
Yes, but the question I would ask her is why has she not done them yet? What
Hmm.
we're as vice president, if we're all saying that Biden is incapable of running the country, and then so
Highly.
she's pseudily running the country, right? So why has she
Mm.
not done these policies? Her
Hmm.
the first policy she came out with was no tax on tips. Okay, cool, no tax on tips. That's perfect,
Hmm.
no problem there. But she stole it from Donald Trump. Donald Trump said it in
Mm.
July. She said it in August. Then she comes out with her economic policy when it comes to $6,000 child care credit, $25,000 first time home buyers credit, things of these sorts. When asked how she's going to pay for them, she said, "Well, it'll pay for itself." Well, we've seen how that goes.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, we've seen how it goes, right? We've seen what they said it was going to do, how because they had these type of they talked about taxes and how things and how all these programs they were going to implement were going to pay for things. That's why they hired so many IRS agents. That's why they wanted to tax you when your Zelle and Venmo and your Cash Apps, you know. So that's why they were taxing that. That's why they hired all these IRS agents to come get these taxes. And
I
unfortunately,
remember that.
they failed at that. They failed at getting the monies they needed, which is why we're in such a bad condition we're in now. When they got in office, we were at record low inflations. I believe under 3%. I'm saying record low interest rates under 3%. Now we're a little bit, I think 6.5%, 6.7% interest rates. So that's 133% increase in interest rates from the time they got in office till now.
Right.
So if you look at if this is what's going to continue, then no, I don't want her in office. Inflation is at a 40-year high, is where inflation is at right now. Hasn't been as high in 40 years. So if you got, people say, no, you got this country in fairly good hands. If you look at the economy.
Yeah, because I was gonna say, they definitely blamed a lot of that on Trump. As he was exiting office, he couldn't even really get out of office fast enough before they really put all that stuff on him. I mean, I know we did have like a tremendous downfall when it came to COVID and whatnot, or I'm sorry, the vid. I don't know if we can say it on YouTube anymore, but yeah, the vid. Anymore. Exactly. I know that did kind of rattle the cage a little bit when it came to small businesses and different things like that. But yeah, I've heard more conversation about people saying that this is Donald Trump's fault for the downfall of the economy in the state that we're in now.
Yeah, and so when does it not become his fault? They've been in office for almost 4 years now. So when is it not his fault? When do you stop blaming someone? When do we take accountability?
Right.
It's whose fault is it then? So my question is this: so was it not Donald Trump's fault that we did well under his presidency? I mean, because I look back and I said in the last 24 years he was the best president we had. 50-year lows in unemployment. I'm talking about all unemployment. 50-year lows in unemployment. Inflation was at a low. Interest rates were low. So at the end of the day, and there's no wars. Now we're in 2 proxy wars. Right. One in Ukraine, one in the middle, one in Israel. We didn't have any wars under him. Violence was on a down slope under his presidency until 2020. We had George Floyd and a lot of other things that went on. And who was the governor in Minnesota under George Floyd? Who wanted to defund the police? Took 2 to 3 days to figure out how the deployment of National Guards. Oh, Tim Walz, the vice president candidate. So it's at the end of the day, like under Trump, things were great.
Right.
And then I did some research on it. I said, give me the top 5 best presidents who impacted Black America. I said, take out Lyndon B. Johnson and Abraham Lincoln. Well, Donald Trump was 3. Barack Obama was 1.
You somebody that did do something for the country?
Who impacted Black America the most? So I said, give me out of all the presidents, which presidents impacted Black America the most? And out of every president that's ever existed, out of the 45 of them, or 46, I think we have 46. I said, take out Lyndon B. Johnson, who obviously was racist, but passed the Civil Rights Act and the Voting Act. Said, take him out and take out Abraham Lincoln. Barack Obama was 1, which I don't know how, but he was number 1.
Yeah.
FDR was 2, and Donald Trump was 3rd. So let me put that in perspective for you. Barack had 8 years. FDR had 12. Trump had 4. So for him to be number 3 out of those or top 5, if you add those other ones back in, if he's top 3, take him out. Top 3 in 4 years, and everyone else had 8 and 12. So that tells you how impactful he was for Black America. So people who say he didn't do anything for Black America, you need to go back and look at the policies, not talk about him grabbing people by the crotch.
I agree because just kind of doubling back onto the Obama thing. One thing I've heard my man say, my favorite, Dr. Umar Johnson, is that under the Obama administration, he gave the LGBT three different laws. There was an anti-Asian hate law, and there's one more that I can't remember, but basically there were executive orders that were in place for these issues that they were having as a community. However, Black people don't have any laws as far as discrimination or maybe police brutality, X, Y, and Z, just different things that were going on. And I think that that's something that we definitely should point out, because as a Black president, you would think one of the first things we would have is some type of law or executive order in the places where we're affected the most. But yeah, the rest of that is crazy. I mean, Dr. Umar, he tear it apart every time.
Yeah, and even Kamala even said this. Well, I can't do anything strictly for Black people. I mean, I've shown the video. She said it out of her mouth. I can't do anything strictly for Black people. But Biden signed an executive order called the Asian American and Pacific Islander Act. That's one of his executive orders that didn't impact nobody but Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. So you can't tell me you can't make policies strictly for one race or one group of people.
Yeah. I think it's shenanigans, and it's just whatever demonic agenda is behind all of this, because it just doesn't make any sense. It really just doesn't make any sense. But okay, so moving into go ahead.
No, I'm just saying no, not at all. It does not make any sense.
So what are the odds? Where do you think, because I was watching your video about Kamala, you were explaining a little bit about Marxism as far as like her policies.
Yeah, so her father, and and Snopes is really left leaning. If you pull up the Snopes article, Kamala Harris's father is a Marxist. Marxism is just like communism. It's basically what it boils down to for the C students like myself is state run. Everything is state run. State runs there's no private property at all. State runs it. Whether something's produced or not is run by the state. So the state decides. And when I say state, I mean the federal government. The state controls what gets produced and how much gets produced. The state controls the pricing. So if you look at everything she said, well, I want to stop price gouging. So if you look at price gouging, supermarkets make between 1% and 3% margins. That's their margin. So out of every $100 you spend, out of every dollar you spend, they make between 1 and 3 cents. That's the supermarkets. So I don't know what the price gouging is there. But if you want to start regulating the prices that they can provide, that's an issue. When she talks about housing and doing rent controls, ask New York how rent control apartments work. I know somebody who does a rent control that pays like $500. They ain't paying no money. But what happens under rent control in New York, and it's actually Trump wrote about it in one of his books, that a lot of big name prominent people bought like 3 or 4 apartments or rented 3 or 4 apartments in a building because it was rent controlled. It was a lot cheaper for them to rent there than go somewhere else. But if you look at rent controls, well, that means the state's going to control the rent. That means the landlord, because it either may or may not rent the apartment, because they're going to lose money if they rent the apartment, and they're not going to make any money really if they. And if they do rent the apartment, what happens is the upkeep is terrible because they don't have the money to fix it. So now you're stuck in a slumlord situation. And then if it's rent control, if you want to leave, you can't leave because the rent's controlled. And you have a hard time finding somewhere else to go. So rent controls are bad, but she wants to run that by the state. Basically, it's all communism or socialism policies that she's asking for. And Venezuela is a huge country where a lot of people from Venezuela are coming to our country illegally across that border. And Venezuela at one time was the richest country in Latin America. Now it's one of the poorest. Caracas has the highest murder rate in the world. In Caracas, Venezuela. Again, this is one of the richest countries in the world, and now they've stooped so low. She wants to control prices of medicines. Well, what does that do for medicine? Well, what it does for medicine, if you control the prices of medicine, what it does is pharmacies will stop producing a lot of medicine because they're not making a profit on it. And then the profit they were making that went to innovating newer and better drugs, now will no longer work. So case in point,
Right.
I worked under GSK, under their, which is GlaxoSmithKline, on Vive Connect, which is their program. That program deals directly with AIDS patients. And
Mm.
we had a drug, I forget the name of the drug that came out, but we came out with a drug that this drug was specifically geared for people whose body had pretty much gained immunity to the drug they were on. So they had to get
Oh
drugs a
wow.
different they had to get a different type of medication so they can stay undetectable.
Okay.
Um, so if you look at
That's
that,
crazy.
yeah, if you look at that, then before I left, they came out with a drug called Cabenuva. I'm not doing a PSA for them, but Cabenuva was an injectable for AIDS. Well, innovation, that's innovative to me, because if I had HIV/AIDS, I'd rather take a shot than have to keep taking these pills. And the
Right.
shot was
Right.
given in office. And so
Mm.
with this shot, that would not have come around, because there would have been no innovation under
Hmm.
Kamala's presidency. So if you look at that, you talk about between 4 and 16 years of her, because you would have Kamala and you have Tim Walz. So you talk about 4 to 16 years of that. Where would this country be if we were to go the way of Venezuela, or go the way of Russia, or go the way of Ukraine? We won't be a country anymore.
Yeah. I definitely agree with that, because I mean, there's a lot of things that have changed that make us, I guess you could say, the greatest country in the world. I know for one thing that's important to me is hate speech that has been kind of put into this game. I would say more so by the Democratic Party. So with this being said, do you think most people are aware of how, like the way you just broke this down? Do you think most Americans are aware of how this is going to actually work if they do this, or are most of us just delusional? Um, and we just like the way it sounds, but we have no idea how it's going to work.
Well, I think most people are willingly ignorant, um,
Hmm.
because Kamala is black, because Kamala washes her greens in the bathtub, because Kamala went to
That's
HBCU,
crazy.
because Kamala is an AKA, because Kamala
Hmm.
is not Trump. If you ask someone, why are you voting for Kamala, they cannot answer your question without saying, because I don't like Trump. I always say, answer.
Yes.
So if you ask me why am I vote for my candidate, I can answer the question without talking about the other candidate. People who are for Kamala, they cannot answer the question as to why they're voting for her without mentioning the other candidate. And that's the issue. So that means you're willingly ignorant, because you're refusing to look at policies. You're doing things based upon how you feel, or how you perceive something, or, oh well, his character. Well, you don't really know the man. You just know what he says because
Hmm.
he's a New York bully. Most people from New York have that certain brashness that other states. Philadelphia has that brashness to him. New York has that
Hmm.
brashness to him. Massachusetts has that brashness to them. So the way he speaks is how he speaks. He's not. I didn't say he was eloquent. I'm not saying he's a great
Hmm.
orator. I mean, a great orator was someone like the guy with the funny mustache in Germany. He was a great orator, and you see what he did. So just because
Yeah.
you speak well, don't mean you're gonna do well. Uh, so so
Yeah.
I appreciate Trump speaking directly to us, as opposed to speaking around the bush and talking around the bush. I have yet to hear, even at the DNC, I've yet to hear them talk policy. They've talked about
Hmm.
this, and this. They spoke about policy, I think, 5 times, and they mentioned Trump's name over 140 times. That tells you that they
Wow.
have nothing to stand on, and
Yeah.
they're having to push a different agenda so that they can get Trump, to keep Trump out of office. And actually, he's gotten a tick up in the polls since the DNC has been going on. That's how bad it's gone for them.
Hmm. Yeah, and kind of like just listening to you talk and reflecting, I think a lot of this has to do with like wanting to like relate to the people to make yourself relevant. Because when I watched a few things of Kamala Harris, as she's like giving her speeches, and you hear a lot of different like emotive responses, emotive stories about their families and what they went through, but it's never really an actual solution to the problem, but just more so of, I'm on you guys' level as well. We're all struggling. And I think that's one of the things that Obama succeeded in, is being able to speak effectively to connect with the crowd, and to really draw the people in. But you're not really giving them anything. You're just bringing them in with words. And that's actually something that worked for Hitler as well. He was very successful because of how powerful and passionate he spoke in his speeches. And when I watched like the documentaries, I'm moved, and I'm like, I don't even speak Russian. I'm moved.
Right.
Like this man is really in it to win it. So I think they do a lot of speeches of just trying to be relatable to people, and they don't really give you any real solutions. As I was saying earlier, matter of fact, I wish I could go back and pull it up of what it's called, because it's only like 2-3 days ago. It's been where Kamala Harris made an appearance, and it might have been in Raleigh. I was about to say Raleigh in
Yeah,
Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, because she was saying this is like her 16th time being here or something. Um, and I mean, it's just a lot of like human connection and no solution, none,
Yeah,
none
she
at
just
all.
laughing, telling stories. I'm like, bro, and for a long time we've been
Hmm.
trying to get policies. But here's the other thing. So we talk about the Obamas, but the Obamas were the last person to endorse Kamala Harris. The Obamas never
Really?
endorsed Joe Biden. After
Mm.
Obama was done with presidency, they didn't endorse him. They endorsed Hillary Clinton. And again, they were the last people to endorse Kamala Harris. Why is that? There has to be a reason. And even if you look at, like I said, Barack Obama has been a great orator. As long
Hmm.
as I've have seen him on the scene, I've never seen him stumble over words. So you know he's reading out of a teleprompter. They all are,
Hmm.
but I've never seen him. He stumbled over words yesterday. I'm like, bro, I never heard that. I never heard him. So you know what he's saying is that he doesn't mean none of that stuff he's saying
Right.
he means. And like I said, Kamala couldn't even be there yesterday because it looked bad for her under VP Biden. So it's just a cluster crap. People don't care about anything other than she's not Trump. Or she is the first female. I want to see a woman go into office.
Hmm.
And so and the Democratic Party knows that black people, for the most part, are ignorant and dumb and will vote no matter what.
Hmm.
They'll vote with their feelings. And I said this before. Malcolm X said it in Ballot versus Bullet. They come and pander to you every 2 to 4 years to get
Hmm.
their vote, and then you never see them again. They never change any policies. And I told somebody today, they understand that they need the black vote, but they know they don't have to do anything to get the black vote
Oh
and
yeah,
keep the black
yeah.
vote because they all they do is come sing and dance, talk about I have hot sauce in my purse and collard greens in my tub,
Megan the
and they'll get
Stallion.
yeah, but they make the stallion. They'll talk a little black for you, and that's all they need, and they'll get the black vote. And the problem is we don't. That's why black people as a whole, as a people, don't get anything changed. We keep asking and complaining about stuff. We rioting in the streets, we marching in the streets, and nothing ever changes. And the reason
Hmm.
why is because unlike us, we don't come together, and two,
Definitely.
we don't hold people accountable.
Hmm.
And what you need to do to hold people accountable is, like I told somebody today, is you vote somebody in based upon what they say. If they don't do what they ask you to do, okay, fine, you're out. The Latinos in Florida, when Governor DeSantis said something that was ignorant, they didn't go to work for 2 days, and he had to come back and apologize. So they didn't get
Yeah.
everything stopped, everything halted. So
Hmm.
what are black people going to be able to halt? Well, I can't go miss my job. We're the people. We're the bus
Hmm.
boycott people because that's what stopped.
Hmm.
That's what stopped a lot of stuff back in the day. We don't have people that will sit and walk to work or carpool to work if they want to boycott the bus. We're not like that
Hmm.
no more. So that's since we're
Yeah.
not like that no more, we're not getting anything changed. We're gonna keep hooping and hollering and like we at church for a candidate that ain't gonna do nothing for us.
But I think somehow that when it comes to this, I think black people are, well, us as a people, I think we are very stuck on wanting our struggle to be recognized, and how we go through the highs and lows on a day in and day out basis. So when we see a figure, a public figure, president, vice president, whatever, standing up that could possibly change something or has power, and they are recognizing our struggle by doing all this relatable stuff and making the stallion, you said the collard greens and stuff in the toilet or in the sink,
in the tub,
whatever.
in the toilet.
Yeah, okay, yeah, in the tub. And it's like like you said, we jump for joy and we thrive off of that, because it's like finally we're recognized, finally seen, but we don't follow through to the end. And I personally think a lot of us really just don't have the education to follow through to the end to get things done properly. A lot of us are very much out of the loop, which is why I'm glad we're doing this.
Yeah, it's like a lot of us are in that honeymoon phase. Oh, girl, I just met this new dude. He's so great. He's so this, and then he get the draws, and you don't hear from him again. That's what it's like.
Tragic.
That's what it's like. You get
No,
the calls.
honestly though.
You don't hear from, or it's like a dude. Oh, I met this banging girl. She's cool. She's cute. And then you pay her rent. And you don't hear from him again. That's what it is. That's how we do things. We're in that honeymoon phase. You gotta get that rent paid. Rent is almost due in 2 weeks, right? I ain't paid this much rent yet. I'm kidding. I need my talking to Uma. I need my rental place to understand, and understand that I ain't got the money to pay for.
Understand.
I'm kidding. But that's where we're at, man. We're just like I said, we're just like the woman who met a man, and then once he got the draws, he disappears, he ghosts her, and that's what happens. We ghost for 4 years, and then they come back. Yeah. Hey, can I spin the block? Can I get them draws again? I'll be better this time. I promise. Please. Okay, I'll let you get them draws. Boom, gone again. You don't see him. So
going faster than a road runner.
That's where we at, right? Then this time he got you pregnant. Now you ain't nowhere to be found. Now you feel like a piece of crap.
Yo,
that was and looking for a child care tax credit.
That was somebody's life just now too. That was somebody's life. So I'm looking here on Instagram. I'm looking here on Instagram. Here we got King_Rainman says Kamala isn't black though.
So one thing I've stayed away from, if you guys listen to watch any of the videos I've ever put out, I stay away from low-hanging fruit topics. And the reason I do that is because whether she's black or Indian, it doesn't matter. Whether she's whether her dad's Jamaican, but I don't think her dad's black Jamaican. I think he's just from Jamaica, like South African. People are African, but they're South African. So I stay away from that. The whole borders are thing. There's some discrepancy there, whether she was or she wasn't. So those are the two issues I stayed away from, because at the end of the day, they don't really matter. But I do know the border was open under Biden and it was closed under Trump. So that my thing was, whether it was her or whether it was Biden, it's still under the Biden administration, and it was a complete cluster crap. And they have all these people coming into our country, staying in $600 a night hotels, getting $13,000 in food stamps and $5,000 in cash. I mean, shit, I could use $13,000 in food stamps. I mean, that'll last me all of 3 weeks. So I'm saying I could use that every month.
No, facts though. I could use that extra a month.
Right. I can use $600. I use that $600 a night hotel room. So what they're doing is they're bringing people in, and what Trump was saying when they're taking black jobs, any job is a black job. Any job is a black job. Any job that black people do is outside of CEO is a black job, because we ain't got a lot of us as CEOs. But all these jobs are black jobs. So the more people you bring into this country, the least amount of jobs you have for us. And again, when I vote, I care about my community first and my country second. Black people above all. I've dated white women, and I guarantee if a race war broke out, they may want to get out the house. So I'm just saying, I'm black first, all day, every day.
So what do you think, with the country being in such turmoil and interest rates are high, and the housing market is pretty ridiculous, and there's not too many positive things going on economically right now for us. What do you think would change, or how would we benefit if Trump got back in office?
So some of the things Trump did was and the Biden administration was smart enough to leave the tariffs that he put in place. So Trump was all about make America great again and bring jobs back to the United States. And what that meant was stop buying goods and services from other countries. So bring back these manufacturing jobs back here. And what he wanted to do was provide tax cuts for corporations to make it easier for them to do business in the United States. I've worked for companies. I'm sure other people I have worked for companies who have outsourced some part of their business to India, to Asia, some other third world country where they can pay somebody $5 an hour. And, we all call customer service and it's thank you, come again, or my name is John. You know what I'm saying? We've all called customer service like, bro, your name is not John. Your name is
chill out. You caught me off.
But no. Hello, thank you, come again. I smell curry cooking in the background.
When they pick up on the phone. Do you know how many times I got into it with them at Verizon?
Right.
I'm done, man. Go ahead.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. But but no, if you look at Trump's tax cuts in 2017, they reduced the rates for individuals and corporations. That led to increased consumer spending and business investment, which that contributed to our economy. Corporate tax cuts he lowered the tax rate from 35 to 21%. And so what that did was that encouraged companies to invest back into the United States, leading to job creation and wage growth. If you look at what Harris wants to do, it's going to focus more on targeted tax cuts, which is going to miss the broader economic benefits that Trump policies achieve. If you look at the private sector, Trump's policies were designed to reduce the government's role in the economy and let the private sector lead, which is what you wanted to do. You want the least amount of government involvement in your life. So again,
Right.
more government involvement in your life, socialism, communism. The least amount of government in your life is what Trump wants to have. And so I'm all about government stay out of my life, which is why I don't like child support. That's a whole different story, different topic for a different day. But I want government out of my life as much as possible.
Yeah. And so, I mean, I don't think a lot of people know that. I mean, they're just stuck on grabbing by the pussy and, putting kids in cages, which all of that is, you know what I mean? All of that is just ridiculous. Go ahead.
Yeah. No, but you talk about putting kids in cages. Obama was the great deporter. He had kids in cages. He separated families. So it wasn't a Trump thing. What'd you say?
Oh, nothing. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying, yeah. So Obama did a lot of that himself. So Trump just kept those things going. So, at the end of the day, what are we talking about here? I mean, so I'd rather deport them, or we're gonna let them keep coming in our country and give them $13,000 and $600 a night rooms. See, I can't afford a $600 a night room.
You know what? I have heard that there's a lot going on when it comes to that, like immigration stuff. Apparently now we're having like thousands of people come in across the border to America a day. Wasn't New York having some issues? New York and Cali were having some immigration issues like this year.
Yeah, so a lot of things that were happening was Texas and Florida like, yeah, we'll take them, but we ain't keeping them. Y'all want these? Y'all know all about this immigration? Yeah, so Texas would get them, and then it would send them to other states. So like California, New York, people were like, oh, we want illegal immigrants. We want you guys over. We want us to be a sanctuary state for you guys. Texas like, no, we ain't taking them, but we can't keep them out. So like, we're gonna put them on a bus or a plane, and they coming right to y'all.
And what are they doing with them there? Like,
in New York, they put them in hotels and giving them money. California
off
put
of
them in
our tax, off of our taxes,
off our
right?
tax money. Yeah, they don't pay.
Yes.
They pay Maria paid no taxes, chica, nothing, nada. She paid nada, and she get mucho dinero, chico.
Mucho dinero.
And I have nothing against I have a friend that's Ecuadorian. I have nothing against immigrants. I also dated a Canadian, and I knew when she took another job, and she had to pay like $5,000, $6,000 to get that to go through that whole process of going out of the country for 2 days, flying back into the country, going through that whole process. Wow. I told her, I said, listen, just fly to Venezuela and come back through the southern border. You won't have to worry about nothing. And she laughed, but it sucks because they have more stringent issues coming from the north to the south than they have from the south to the north. So it's crazy. I believe if you want to immigrate to this country, do it the right way. Go through the process that you need to go through. We shouldn't just be letting everybody in. Then if we want to let everybody in, why do we have borders? That makes no sense to me.
And the most important thing about that as well is that you can't do that in any other country. You'll either be arrested or shot and killed trying to infiltrate anyone else's country illegally. On Instagram, we got Chaz Dan says, what do you all think about the hate for Trump from liberals? I understand not liking what he has to say or what he does, but wishing death on him is insane. By the way, I've never heard a conservative say they hate Biden or wish death on him. They just wanted him to step down. I mean, what I personally think about that, as far as people literally hating him, I mean, most people are brainwashed into the decisions that they make. They don't even know that they're saying these things. because it's almost like most people aren't conscious these days. So I think the media has done a really good job of brainwashing people when it comes to Trump, his image, and what he's done and what he said. So I mean, that's pretty much all I have to say about that. But what would you say, Professor? Unless you want me
Yeah.
to read.
No, I just think people don't like him. They don't like his policies. They don't like his on immigration, his environmental policies, his healthcare policies, his tax. So on top of that, they don't like the fact that they perceive that he wants to stop the deletion of babies. Um, he's never said that. He is for, I think the three, I think is the R word, incest, and
Oh,
life of the mother. So these are the
hmm,
three. He's like, no, if these three are the cases, I'm for it. He's
hmm,
against a nationwide ban on it. He just, again, like I said, doesn't want the federal government to have a say so in whether you can delete a child or not. He believes that should be up to
yeah,
the state. Let the states make that decision. So
hmm.
so a lot of liberals don't like the fact that, oh, he doesn't, it's my body, my choice. Well, I guess, but if you delete that baby, but you're not deleted, then how is it your body? A whole nother story for a different day. But
Whole nother
um
story. Please, we got to get into that one day because I was literally just talking about that. I was talking about the life of conception with somebody today, actually. Yeah,
yeah. And so they don't
like when
like
does
him for
life?
these things. Yeah, when does life begin? What?
Yeah,
Because I mean, there have been fetuses or babies, whatever people want to call them, that have survived after a certain amount of weeks, and that doesn't have to be. I think 24 weeks is survived, or so I
hmm.
have to go look at it again. But I think 24 weeks was the shortest term, or maybe it was lower than that. But when does life begin? That
At
is what it is.
conception.
But I know in California, you can they want to not California. I'm sorry, in Minnesota is up to 9 months, and in some states they want
Yeah,
to be,
man.
hey, yeah, no, go ahead.
No. Go ahead, go ahead. I'm listening. That's yeah,
No, I was just gonna say in some states they want you to be able to birth the child and then make the decision after the child is born. Like, hey, do you want to keep it or do we get rid of it?
and
Um,
that's man. Talk about having blood on your hands.
I mean, look. I mean, Planned Parenthood is right outside the DNC. Like they had to get a permit. They had to get this approved. They're right outside the DNC doing snips and doing deletions. So if you want a vasectomy, go ahead. If you want to get rid of
Snips
your
and
unwanted baby, snips and deletions. So if you want to get rid of your baby, go to the DNC for free. That's what they want. They want your kids. They,
they
they want your kid.
do. They do, and it's so much going on because I was getting into some stuff with the alphabet people that I was doing some research on when it comes to the kids, and that's another topic for a different day anyway. But I wanted
Yeah.
to come to a conclusion. So I just burped all in the camera. I mean in the mic. Let me see. I pretty much that was really really good. We pretty much covered like the main things that's going on right now. Did you have like any closing thoughts? I just wanted to show like a little funny video, and or actually
Well,
two funny videos.
well, I really wanted people to look at her, because we don't know what Kamala, copycat Kamala, chameleon,
Come on, come on.
Kamala Harris, the P Diddy of politics, Kamala Harris, Kalamaism. So there's a lot of things you can call her, right? But it's I want you to look at what she did in San Francisco when it came to locking up multiple people for nonviolent drug offenses. I want you to look at
Mhm,
how she suppressed evidence and prevented people from doing appeals because either they did not do it in a certain amount of time, or
mm,
they didn't go through the proper procedures. And although they were serving as their own attorney, I want you to look at the fact that she wanted to lock up single parents for their kids not going to school for truancy laws. She wanted to lock up the parents for that. So
what?
let's look at So look at some of these things that she did. Look at how the economy was, although she didn't have much to do with that, but look at the economy that they had. Why are there so many people leaving San Francisco? The fact that what she's talking about wanting to do as far as build with the 3 million homes in the United States. If you look at
What?
California, it takes years to get permitted, sometimes years to get permitting, but it takes a long time
Hmm.
to get permitting in California as opposed to other states. So if you want to have government all up in your house, all up in your grocery store, all up in your medicines. Vote Kamala Harris. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you want. So, but look at what she did out there, and look at our country now. Look where we are as far as our record highs in inflation.
Not doing too
Um,
good.
record high interest rates, right? Not record high, but they're high interest rates. Record high inflation, right? We can't afford, people can't afford gas to go to work. And then when they get to work, they're not getting paid enough to buy the bread that they need to eat. You know what I'm saying?
No, seriously.
So, credit card interest rates are 21 to 33%. So everyone's robbing Peter to try to pay Paul, but they're only getting Paul half because they ain't got enough money to survive. So everyone's robbing Peter, trying to pay Paul, and they're struggling. They're struggling right now. So we, look at where this world is. Look at the wars we have going. We giving all this money out to Ukraine for
Yes.
war we shouldn't even be around. And that's a whole different discussion, whether it's Russia or Ukraine. So for us, we have to look at what they're doing. And you talk about change or how are things going to be different than what they are now. And she's sitting in the position to make the changes.
Yeah. You're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, she's not running. She's already there. She's already there, and there's no changes. All this crap has happened under her watch. And they're talking about change and hope and all this BS. Look at what's actually going on. Look at the policies. Stop thinking about who Trump is or what he did or what he didn't do or who he's grabbing or that he has felonies. The man didn't have not one speeding ticket until this year. They got him felonies. They tried to delete him, and they still didn't.
Yeah.
They still didn't succeed. So what? This man is a fighter. This man's gonna fight for the country. This man believes in the country. This man doesn't have to even do anything. This man's a billionaire. He doesn't have to do anything. He was living just fine before he ran. He ran because he loved the country that much. He got tired of seeing it the way it was. So put all that into perspective. Think about all of those things that we have going on. Think about forget about Sweet Dick Willie and Kamala, right? look strict. Like I always say, strip away everything. Go tit for tat when it comes to policies and see who wins out. And I guarantee you it's Trump. Because if Trump had a different name, if Trump was named Ted Turner or Ted Stanton, whatever, you wouldn't have no issues with him. Kamala would have no leg to stand on. And if she wasn't a female, God forbid, it wouldn't even be a race. So look at the policy. Stop believing in identity politics. Vote. Take your feelings out of it. Vote correctly, because this country is on the verge of going in the wrong direction if it continues to go the way it is. And this is not a fear tactic. It's just, this is what's going on. People are working 2 or 3 jobs and still can't afford to put food on the table. So and on top of that, last thing here, we all talked about Sonia Massey. That was a bad situation. But under Kamala, while she was in San Francisco, she said she was against body-worn cameras by police officers, so you wouldn't even have the video, and she was against investigating police-involved shootings. So you wouldn't have had the video, and on top of not having the video, she wouldn't even investigated the situation. This is what she believed. This is what she did. As I can only go by what you did. What's the best? What's the greatest predictor of future performance? Past performance. And then I'm gonna leave you guys with this. Ronald Reagan said this in a ring shirt. I'm probably gonna say it twice. You got to understand, overstand, and understand. the piece of pan fried, the prince of pan fried chicken.
Piece of pan fried chicken, man.
Exactly. So Ronald Reagan said this: the worst and scariest 9 words in the English language are this: "Hi, I'm from the government, and I like to help." So again, he said, "Hi, I am from the government, and I would like to help." No, I am from the government, and I'm here to help. Hi, I'm from the government, and I'm here to help. That is Kamala's world. She wants the government to help you out in every step of the matter, and I get it, because there's a lot of women who rely on the government to live, and so I get it. But hold these people to the fire. Ask what their policies are. Ask the tough questions, and then make an informed decision, not an ignorant one. based upon gender, race, or character. Vote politics only.
And I deeply appreciate that. So that was amazing. Because we really needed to hear that. I mean, you broke it down perfectly, honestly. We got a lot of action here in the chat on Instagram. Chaz Devon said, wow, after the child is conceived. So that's when you were explaining in, I think you said Minnesota, they're having the ninth month term, or they're aborting the child after conception. I mean, after it's born.
You have I believe, I think it's California and Minnesota. You have up to 9 months to get rid of that baby, and then there's some states that are wanting to pass where you can, with a child can be born, and then you make a decision at that point. Though those laws have not been passed, but there are states that have talked about it.
I'll do some. Okay.
I can link some stuff in the chat later, or I get back to them. I get it to you and get it out to those guys.
Okay, great. We got Trump. More beautiful is AF. More for president. Yay, more MRT for president.
That's right. I be the VP. That's cool.
For real though.
I have no problem getting behind that. How you doing?
Yo, you a mess. You are a mess. We got husband advice in the comments. We got Serge here. Well, Serge.
What up, though?
He says, I'm not voting for her. It's a no. Women don't need to be playing, man. Trump 2024, my timeline, LMAO, best president ever. Chaz came back and said, I've never heard Kamala speak about the solution to inflation. She's not. You're not going to ever hear her speak about the solution to inflation because she don't have one. All she's going to do is reflect back to Trump, and then she's going to hit you with an emotive story, an emotive response, and then we're going to go past it without the solution.
Guys, they think you're dumb. They think they're like, these folks are dumb. They're dumb. We don't have to tell them nothing. They'll just vote for us just because we women in nice pantsuits. They know what they're like. Y'all dumb.
Yeah. Chaz the Dan said, well, I've never heard that saying. I think it's the quote. I've never heard that saying. He was talking about husband. I said right back, but we about to slide up out of here. What up, Slater? Thank you, Slater, for joining. We got Hairbone in the building. What up, Hairbone? It looks like we were pretty active on Instagram, and people are still joining, coming in and out.
We all been the whole time. We've been sitting here. We've been washing collard greens in the tub. We got hot sauce in our in the toilet. And I told them, I'm trying to say, where you peeing? I'm trying to tell you one time. Now you gotta watch the replay this motherfucker. We got shit to do. I'm trying to tell you. You got stuff. I got hoes coming over. I can't afford hoes on the Kamala's. I can't afford hoes on the Kamala's America. I gotta put these hoes on layaway. Like, baby, can I get you next week?
Layaway is insane. Speaking of hold on, because I said I wanted to close out with this video. Let me see if anybody's commenting. Oh no, they didn't dropped off. Okay, so hold on, let me do present, share screen. This joint is freaking just stupid. Okay.
I've been walking for about 57 days and 8 hours. I'm walking from Brooklyn, New York to Del Rio, Texas, where I'll then cross the Rio Grande into Mexico and then re-enter the United States as an illegal immigrant. That way I can get back on unemployment, get free housing, so the government doesn't punish me for not being vaccinated. I've got about another 326 miles, and then I can get back to life as normal. Then I start working on my accent. Wish me luck, amigo.
Yo, that whole thing is just freaking stupid every time I see that. Every time I see that. But yeah, I just wanted to close out with something ridiculous, guys. I was gonna pull up that Joe Biden video. Chad say, but the collards in the tub should be illegal. I'm not eating nobody's collard greens in the toilet. I mean, in the tub.
That's how I knew she wasn't black. So I had to watch these collars in the. I said, people love my collars. I had to get these South Carolina collars, and they loved them so much. I had to put them in the. What you say, Quavo? I had to put them in the tub to wash them because I have boss that likes how I talks it.
That I pray to God she didn't say that.
But she said I wash my collard greens in the tub. Hand to God.
Yo, and like it's so annoying that she's rounding up all these black people to just like, make a point, like the Megan Thee and the Quavo. Come on, man, stop it right now.
And just so everybody knows, other non-blacks do go to HBCUs. I got a 50-year-old lady I work with who's a graduate from A&T. So
oh wow,
just let people know. So non-blacks do go to HBCUs. But let's talk about HBCUs real quick because under Trump he gives $255 million to HBCUs every year.
Oh wow.
So just FYI, he passed that to make sure HBCUs had funding because they were going broke. They had no money. He said, "Hey baby, y'all got big. Never mind, I'm gonna give y'all this. I got you." So, but he hate black people though. He hate black people, but he gave money to HBCUs.
Remember that. Exactly. Remember that. Wasn't he on some type of rap show or something back in the day?
Man, this dude was in Fresh Prince. All the rappers loved this dude. I think Omarosa was hired as on the first season of The Apprentice. Yeah, for all the people that say he don't like black people, like let's say he don't like black people. A lot of people don't like black people. It's cool. I get it. A lot of presidents don't like black people except Thomas Jefferson. He loved black people, especially black women. But I'm saying though, at the end of the day, like, what does it matter if their policies impact you in a good way? What does it matter if they like us or not? Because ain't nobody else passing nothing for us.
No, and that's definitely true. Because I mean, I guess you have to kind of think about like how you're going to have those resources available for yourself and family versus you liking somebody or not liking them.
Exactly. Let me see. So let me show this real quick. I know you wanted to get out on that last video. Let me show you this real quick, if I'm able to. What you doing? Oh, she over there, Millie rocking. Okay.
I forgot that is what it's called.
Let me see here. Where's my thing at? I'm gonna play this real quick for you. Okay. Let me see. Add that to the stage for me real quick. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be real quick with
it. So I know how to make a mean pot of greens. In fact, people used to ask me to make greens for them for Christmas. One year, I had so many that I had to wash that we ended up washing them in the bathtub. So
okay.
I am not around.
This ain't her, but there you go. So I'm just saying. So now you know this ain't no bull crap.
Man, that is disgusting. I just cleaned the crap out of my shower the other day, and I'm just thinking about that. Like, come on, yo, come on.
She had washed them things fabuloso. Oh.
So you'll be fabulously in the hospital is what you're gonna be.
I'm trying to tell you that's y'all girl though. That's y'all girl because she walks it like she talks it. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That is so
hotties for Harris.
Ew. Count me out. Mm-hmm. Count me out. But all right,
like I said on BMU the other day, you're not black if you don't vote for Trump.
You are not. Matter of fact, your black card is getting revoked if you don't vote for Trump.
You can't come to the spades tournament. No, you can't
no
come to
cookouts.
The bands. No cookouts. You gotta put raisins in your potato salad.
Oh,
you gotta eat green bean casserole.
Ew. Well, I'm eating neither.
Yeah, with the onions on top.
That's gonna be for the outsiders when the outsiders the ones that's excommunicated, like Dr. Umar be saying. Right. That's for the ones that are excommunicated. You got the raisins and the potato salad.
Matter of fact, if you vote for Kamala, you got to go paint FDMG. You gotta go paint the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey School Academy for Boys. You gotta go help Dr. Umar out. He ain't gonna open a school no time soon, but you gotta go paint that bitch.
Yo, man, I gotta go back and find that clip where he's still talking about it. I swear to God. I gotta go back and find that interview. World class. World class is late, man. We about to close. This was a good episode, though. This was
what
great.
Up, though? Yeah, we're gonna chop it up, snip it, and send it around.
Oh yeah, I definitely believe they're gonna be angry. It might be another viral moment. To be honest.
I love going viral. I like going viral like C19, baby. I'm trying to tell you.
class.
He talking to me. I know I look good, but I ain't gorgeous. I'm handsome and stuff. World class. But I'm joking. World class. We know who you talking to, obviously. Y'all gonna stop saying she look good. Y'all gonna make her hair blow up.
I was just about to say, make it all the way big. Keep doing it. That was scary because that fell over randomly.
That's what I told her. Make it big. But no, it's a great book called Start With Why. It's Simon Sinek. And that's how I start. I start with why. I start with why am I voting for my candidate? So start with why.
Your why. All right, you guys. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you guys learned something. I know you had to because I did, and I'm the host. So yes, make sure you follow Professor. Great guy to watch his content and to stay up to date with everything and to have accurate knowledge. Stay tuned for some new series I will be dropping. I'm going to be doing a series on manipulation. Type shit. But yes, I'm going to be doing a video on manipulation. And it's going to be pretty good. I'm going to do my best to do some more lives this week as well. So, yeah, just stay tuned, you guys. And we are out. Bye, world class. Bye.
See you guys.
My dude. What in this? Is it?